honestly, I'm thinking about, I was actually going to stick with the main hoop, but because of one problem that we're going to discuss, I might end up redoing the main hoop right now because it would actually, it's going to be the easiest time to redo it right now than if I ever tried to do it in the future. And it's going to cost the least amount too, especially considering time. I didn't want to redo it because that was 10 feet of pipe, which is probably about $30 or $40 my cost. So I was trying to keep the cost down, but to be honest, you know, in the long run, and especially when it comes to my safety and the possibility that the cage might not get teched, I might rethink that that main hoop. So, but then again, I might double check a few things and see if I'm able to sail by with the main hoop the way it is. I'm probably going to be able to do that just because I really like how it came out. But there's one problem that we're going to discuss, and we'll talk about that right now. So far I've gotten a lot better with the bender. I already did the main hoop, and I got the plates on the floor made up. So I got those 6x6 plates. They're right there. And I got the main hoop about where I want it. And I made these rear, I think they call them the D bars, or I can't remember off the top of my head. But I made these rear support bars, and they came out pretty good. I got these plates right here made up. They came out pretty good. So that was all good. Everything went smooth there. But like I said, I also have made these bars. I actually made an extra one of those. You can see it right there under the car. That was the first one I did for that side. And because of this angle, how the pipe has to come up and then come this way and then come back straight, I didn't quite get the angle right on that at all. So I wasted another 72 inches of pipe right there. So honestly, all said and done, if I could be under $100 in wasted pipe, I would probably be happy. But it's almost kind of looking like the only thing that's going to work is these so far. I might have to redo the main hoop and the rear bars. The reason is because with the seat I have, those razor seats, my head actually comes basically just under this bar. And the rule book states that this bar actually has to be either 3 inches minimum above your head with your helmet on, or within 1 inch of the roof. And as you can see, unfortunately, we're not quite 1 inch from the roof. We are right here, but in the book it states that it needs to be above your head 1 inch from the roof. So technically, I could have made this skinnier and been able to tuck it up into the roof a little bit better. And because I didn't, we're kind of running into that problem where with that seat, I'm too tall and I don't quite fit under the cage. And also, that would be all good if the cage had came within 1 inch of the roof, which it does here, but not directly above my head. So the last ditch effort is to potentially put a Kirky seat in here before I get the cage checked and measure it out and see if I'm going to have enough room. But I'm kind of a tall guy, so I'm definitely not short, so I don't think it's going to work, but we'll have to see. Really, it just comes down to that. The other problem with redoing this bar is because if this bar was taller, that's going to make these bars too short, so they wouldn't match up, so I'd have to redo those 2 bars right there also. And, you know, it costs money and it costs time, so just gotta take all those variables into consideration when I build this thing. So there's a few other rules too. It says that it has to be wide enough to either be away from your shoulders or come within 1 inch of the door. So I have done that at least. But again, we're running into the fact that I didn't quite build it high enough. And that one was because when I measured the distance between those two bends, I didn't take into account, because I had never bent nothing, that the bend was not just going to instantly start and go down. You know, it takes a little bit of time for the bend to start going down, and then it takes even more time for it to be completed. So really, you know, the bend's not completely done until 3 or 4 inches away from where I actually started. So I basically end up building the distance between the two bends too much. But really, I really dig the way it looks. Honestly, I think it actually looks really, really badass like that, because of the way it kind of comes all the way out like that. But again, in the rule book, it's unlikely to pass tech. This is the other thing, is that if I had a shorter driver, but see, then it's like you're cheating the rule book just to get the cage tech, cutting yourself out of safety. Like, I don't want to, obviously I could get around the rule book, but what about in the event of an accident that I took that shortcut and then it cost me my life? That's not what this is all about, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. This whole car, you know, there was a lot of time that I never told anybody this, but I've had a lot of just thoughts about this car basically being the end of me, you know, and it's a scary thought, but I'm trying to, now that I realized, you know, it hasn't took me yet, and we've been as far as we have, I'm ready to, you know, continue on with my life and do the best I can to try to prevent that from happening. So that's why I'm trying to take some pride in this cage, and I want to do it to the best of my ability, and I want to do it good. I want, when a professional cage builder looks at the cage, to be like, hey man, you did a pretty good job. You know what I mean? And I don't want someone to look at it and be like, wow, I wouldn't get in that cage, you know? I'm going to be giving a lot of people rides, and a lot of those people have friends and family and kids that they need to go home to, and that's my obligation to, you know, since I'm building this cage, I'm basically putting their life on the line as well. So this cage has to be top notch. If there's something I'm not happy with, I'm not going to do it. Like I said, the only reason that roll bar, I was actually really happy with it until I realized that rule was not quite being met, and now I'm kind of a little bit worried about it, especially once you think about it. You know, if your head sticks out the roof, you hit the ground, you got to consider that bar is going to flex, and it might even bend. So if you're only an inch away from that thing and it bends down 6 inches, it's going to, you know, compress your spine, and that's pretty much it. You're done. So you got to think about all those things. $100, come on. You know, it's $100 and another day of my time to rebuild that main hoop and those 2 back bars. And if I got to do it, I will do it. No questions asked. But if with the Kirky seat, I can be 3 inches below, we're good. You know, it's in the rule book, and I think it's safe, so I'll stick with it. But I need to get someone over here to kind of measure me out while I'm sitting down in the car, and then we'll go from there. But again, if you guys watched all the way through, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. If you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.